What's up, everyone? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
And I'm Jammin John.
And we have an album review for you. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to this one when it came out because I had to go to Florida and purchase a shitload of music down there.
Had to.
Had to. That's what you do in Florida.
Had to stay in a resort for 12 days where it was nice. We're here in the Midwest where it's not nice.
Frozen drinks are nice. So, we finally decided to get to this one, and I honestly could not think of doing a year-end list with this band coming out with an album. I'm talking about Cattle Decapitation with their new album, Death Atlas. This came out November 29th on Metal Blade Records. This is their 8th full-length. They've been around since 1996 from San Diego, California. This is also their first album with their new rhythm guitarist, Belisario D'Annunzio. I think that's how you pronounce it, and if I fucked up your name, I'm sorry, dude. So, this band has been on an interesting trajectory. When I started getting into them way back when Humanure came out, it was very much a straight death grind band, fiercely just technical and brutal as fuck. And then around Monolith to Inhumanity, they started throwing in more black metal elements. And they did the same on the Anthropocene Extinction. Now this album really takes that to a whole new level and really just blends all their sounds together.
Dude. And even some new stuff you'll hear throughout the album. It's really good.
I knew this was going to be good because this band is good. But I am actually pretty shocked at the amount of stuff that really came out in this. Like, this band has really grown. Starts off with an interesting intro. Some really cool synths, which were all done by Travis Ryan on here, and he really has a flair for this. There's really cool atmosphere building in this. Yeah. It has kind of a sci-fi feel
Definitely
to it.
like an 80s sci-fi feel.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking like Blade Runner and shit like that. And it has like little bits of newscasts from, sounds like foreign news channels, pretty much end of the world kind of shit. And that really sets the pace for the opening track, The Genocide. Right away, they hit you with black metal. And it was pretty just sharp right out of the gate, unmistakably black metal. Now you can definitely tell the production, I think, is a lot different on this one. This is far more layered, full production.
Yes.
Like, this doesn't have as much grit. There's still grit to it, but this has like a lot of layered synths in it. There's more dynamic guitar work. It's very layered in there too. The vocals, Travis Ryan is a monster. This guy is inhuman.
Just all over the place. Such a dynamic range. Going
from these black metal shrieks to low death metal growls to the uber low, brutal death, gurgles, and then to this odd singing voice that is, it's somehow very catchy. I don't get it because, like, part of me thinks this sounds like some sort of cyborg cartoon character.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a Frank Welker voice in a cartoon, but it works so well. I was legit shocked.
I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I'd read some reviews that said, some people thought that there was too much clean, but I think it was placed throughout the album really well.
And it wasn't as though it took away from the overall brutal effect.
Yeah.
I would say this is accessible, and I know accessible when it comes down to extreme metal is kind of a dirty word, but it kind of works because there are legit hooks in here, there are tons of melodies in here, but it does not sacrifice brutality. Like, this album is still ferocious and in your face. Be Still or Bleeding Hearts was a nice shift from the opening track, The Genocide. This one was less epic and more technical and ferocious, very riff-driven, and this one really showcases that bounce back and forth between brutal death metal, little bits of grindcore, and then black metal. And they shift so seamlessly on this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel forced at any point. The transitions are smooth.
Yeah.
The drum work is...
The drum work's nuts. That guy's fucking nuts.
Dude, insane. Good use of keys and subtle moments on this song, too. And, like, there are keys throughout this, but it's not to the point where, like, they're so out front.
Yeah, it's not overbearing.
It's
like, I'm not usually a fan of keys, especially in death metal.
Something to layer it.
But it enhanced, again, he talked about that really full sound. Like, it just enriches the moment for the song.
So, yeah, this one, once again, kind of showcased their evolution in terms of bringing in these elements. And then the next track,
Vulturous, had a really nasty kind of breakdown opening to it. Just again, Rifftastic should be the name of this album.
I love the palm muted chugs that came in after this
dude.
breakdown. Reminded me instantly of Deicide.
Yep.
Deicide,
Yep,
just
that's
in terms
what I
of
had too. Was Deicide
speed and aggression and just heft.
Deicide and like had some dying fetus moments
Definitely
too,
some
as far
dying
as
fetus.
the chugs were concerned. Again, the transitions are really well done, and just simply a really brutal ending.
What I really liked on this, once again, Travis doing his thing, and he just goes all over the place in this song, especially. And to anyone that's like a first-time listener to Cattle Decapitation, it sounds very processed. It sounds like a lot of studio magic. We've seen him live, and
It's
not. This dude is a freak. Dude.
I really want to see him again. I want to see him tour on this record, 1000%.
Yes. So we're also greeted to some interludes on this. The first one, The Great Dying Part 1, which definitely brings back the sci-fi elements. There's these dense keyboards and almost like a Siri-like voice talking over it, pretty much telling us how much she hates humans. I'm inclined to agree, and yeah, I mean, I think Siri would probably hate us by now. We're asking a lot of annoying questions.
I'm pretty sure that Siri has a really...
Tons of stupid questions.
Yeah, a really broken outlook on humanity.
So, one of my standouts on this was Bring Back the Plague, and yes, I'm for it. The opening part instantly reminded me of Emperor, which I'm a huge Emperor fan. That was one of the original black metal bands I got into, and I think probably one of the most talented bands that ever were in black metal. Right away, it had this very atmospheric feel to it, just epic right away, and from this point, you know, the album really kept its foot on the gas. Like, it was fucking fast, it was furious.
Reminded me of like a Black Dahlia Murder groove for a minute.
It's just going. But this one actually took some slower, more melodic moments on here, and especially on this chorus that comes in, which I think is quite possibly one of the best ones on this album. Possibly one of the best choruses they've written in their careers. This one actually showcased some, like, real cleans. Like, not Travis's weird, robotic...
Yeah, there was no effect over it.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded like it really
Natural.
was him singing. Yeah,
and it sounded good.
Yeah.
It sounded really good. Like, it really owned the moment, and I like the fact that they tried something different right here, and it just was absolutely killer. And then it closed with almost like a Pantera-like groove metal section.
Yep.
Like, you just had this instantly headbangable moment, but this song took so many different turns, but once again, it never lost momentum. It kept this really cool flow going.
Kind of reminded me of like that riff in Primal Concrete Sledge.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's just awesome. This was an exceptional song. Showed off some really cool songwriting.
After another song or two, we're greeted to another interlude called The Great Dying Part 2 to coincide with The Great Dying Part 1. Still maintained the sci-fi theme, except it was more like a RoboCop thing, wherein RoboCop hates us all too.
Apparently humanity still sucks, according to RoboCop. I get it.
Yep. Next in line would have been Finish Them. Actually, I think probably one of the shorter songs on the album. This was pretty much just straightforward meat and potatoes riffage.
Fucking banger.
It opened like Dying Fetus, and it ended like Misery Index.
The death grind showed on this one.
For sure.
Definitely like there was more groove-oriented, and had some really distinct riffs on it. Like, there are instantly memorable riffs on here, and it's, I think, real notable because it's one of the shorter ones, and it kind of harked back a little bit to their older stuff.
Next in line for me would have been Time's Cruel Curtain. Had a really melodic opening to it. Like a really kind of atmospheric, dissonant.
It was really pretty, and I like the fact that this far in the album, they didn't show off everything they had that early on. This was something that was distinctly different from the rest of the album.
The second or third to the last song.
Yeah.
So it brought in another punch that I just wasn't expecting. And then it kind of leads into like I was reminded of like Job for a Cowboy meets like Anata.
Yeah.
As far as the verse was concerned,
it shifted into like tech death.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
The chorus had kind of like a Mastodon feel to it before it.
Yeah, like but when it comes in, it has this very Mastodon feel. Then it starts bringing in some heavier chugging over top of it. And it kind of loses that Mastodon feel, but it's kind of buried back there. Like, there's some riffs in there that just definitely scream something off of maybe Blood Mountain.
Maybe, yeah.
And once again, I thought this was one of the most different tracks on here, and it was really good.
It's even got this cool, like, bass line groove to it. It's the only time it's really kind of predominant in the record at all, but it's got this probably, like, I don't know, 10-second or so bass line groove that's really neat. So.
And brought in, like, some killer riffs behind it. Like, it was a good little isolated moment. Bassists don't get enough love. I guess that's what we're saying, and he got some love there, and it was a really cool moment. Now, we both have to talk about the title track, the closing track. Holy shit.
Dude.
This was the big closer. It was absolutely amazing. The best song on the album.
Called Death Atlas, the name of the title track of the album. Dude, it was just, it's such a good listen from beginning to end. I was reminded of Fear Factory.
Yes. That big open chug part.
In Demanufacture.
Yeah, 100% Demanufacture. Also reminded me of Strapping Young Lad when it came down to like kind of that layering in there, and the production really shown in terms of how big the sound could get.
Yep.
It seemed like it got even more massive on this song in particular. I loved how it started with like an atmospheric black metal opening, and then subtly just shifts right away to straight up death metal. And it's a seamless transition.
Yeah, all the transitions in this album seem to be seamless. I can't think of any time where I kind of turned my nose a little bit and said, like, it didn't work. Like,
No,
they all work. It was really... The songwriting on here is just superb.
Later on in the song, it actually kind of goes back to their brutal death sounds, even kind of harking back some kind of suffocation-esque vibes. It was a good shift in the bridge, and then this closing part comes in, which just is absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
You know, you really don't think of describing a band like Cattle Decapitation as beautiful, but it was.
It's kind of like almost like an atmospheric kind of like doom-laden part. Really reminds me of both Typo Negative and, oddly enough, David Bowie.
The cleans that come in are very
The
David
cleans that
Bowie.
come in are David.
It sounds like David
Bowie-ish.
Bowie.
Yep.
It's very crooned. It's very sullen. And then after that section, Travis Ryan comes back in with his odd cleans. It fades out beautifully from that fucking point. And like the riff that continues on in there.
Yeah, dude, and it fades out for quite some time too. Like it's a real gradual.
The long fade.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's really cool, and you almost don't want it to end.
I didn't. I could have tolerated like another
couple minutes to that. Yeah, for sure.
It was great. So yeah, I am super glad that I went around to review this one, because this is an incredible album, and it just showcases the immense growth in terms of their sound, their songwriting, everything. This is a killer album. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. This is definitely year-end material for me. Wow. I knew this was going to be good. I really did. I didn't think it was going to be this good. I thought that Anthropocene was really good, but I thought it kind of followed too closely to Monolith. This is its own album, 100%.
Yeah, dude,
and
for real.
Everything about it is just huge. It is massive. This is possibly one of their best albums in their entire back catalog, and that's a pretty impressive back catalog.
So overall, I also give this record 4.5 stars. Just a killer album. A great listen from start to finish. I had little to no issue with this record. Maybe like a part with some of the cleans that didn't necessarily fit in certain parts. I won't state that it was bad, so
No.
I give it 4.5 stars. Great album.
Killer listen. Great way to cap off the year in terms of reviews.
For sure.
Honestly, not much coming out in December, so we're on to best of lists, which I can't wait to do, because I got a lot of shit. And discography rankings, which I'm looking forward to doing.
Yeah,
again.
I really am too. The next one's going to be killer, so.
So, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do shit like this all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Catch you guys later.
Later.